So, you haven't lived until you've been escorted out of a town hall at your state capital. A town hall with a theme of preventative measures, gang activity, gang violence. Councilman, State Representative Carl Gillard, or Gillard, out of Savannah. Now, in all fairness, I called and spoke to this gentleman early this morning. Pleasant conversation. Asked him what his position was on House Bill 994, which is that governor-stamped, egregious, patty roller-ish, anti-criminal justice reform legislation. Again, stamped by the governor. He said he opposed it. He then let me know about House Bill 883, his own personally authored bill, that is a gang task force, and basically deals with preventative measures. Now, I told him I was coming to this town hall. They have filed House Bill 994. The governor has already stated that he will sign it. All of our focus needs to be there. All of the particulars, extending the jurisdiction for resource officers, immediate death penalty, a gang, and I asked y'all plenty of times before, what is a gang? Well, they classify a gang as three or more individuals or children from the age of 13 to 17 assembled together, and an officer has the discretion, if he believes they are committing a crime or about to commit a crime. That's how they label a gang. Well, hell, by that measure, I wonder, when you have a couple of crooked cops assembled beyond the ages of 13 and 17, are they considered a gang? Is J. Edgar Hoover and COINTELPRO a gang project? What's a gang? Well, they're telling you what a gang is. It's dangerous legislation that will have your children in mind who look like us. You hirelings, you low-income Caucasians, your children, our children, polka dot children will be in the crosshairs of law enforcement, making special prosecutors out of GBI agents. So I came to talk about that today. Now, before I was asked to leave because of my comments, and by the way, shout out to the brother. Man, some of us need to be ostracized and cut out like a cancer. The brother who was seated behind me, by the way, it was about 11 of us in the big boy room in the Capitol, room 341, 11. And a couple of them were his staff. Had a panel of 5. Shout out to the brother who I asked, did he mind, capturing this record? You're going to see about 3 minutes and some odd seconds because the brother was filming. But as I started to get in conflict, even though he said he wasn't associated, when I looked and the camera was down in his lap, he told me it cut off. Negro, speak your truth. Say you cut it off. Some of you can't even look a real brother in his face, man. You talk with your heads down, you kowtow, you buck dance with your jester bells on. So as I started to say that meeting and the purpose of it, considering that he's got a bill 883, House Bill 883, that no one knows about, that's preventative measures to counter gang violence. Man, why didn't you invite some of the folks that, and for the record, I'm a little like on 6 now, but pleasant conversation this morning. Pleasant conversation when we started the exchange. But why would you invite some of them in here? Some of the ones that are running this legislation up your derriere with the governor's stamp on it. And even if they didn't attend, that's ammunition for, see, the governor and cronies want to run legislation that will target those that have suffered from disparities of this system. They don't want to sit down and even talk about preventative measures. That's power, if that's what you really are about. Now, in all fairness, we have the opportunity to go on a well-known local talk radio show and toss it back and forth on what happened today. But when you start questioning, when you start with bamboozling the people on, sir, we spoke about that earlier today and I notified you that that's not what this was about. That's not what you said, sir. And I don't care what environment I'm in. Another brother who I saw on a panel couple months ago from Black Male Lab, doing good work, but this brother in good spirit turned to me and said, hey, brother, you're making good points. It's not how you do it. With all due respect, homie, this ain't my first rodeo. Not everybody is going to sit comfortably in a wicked institution, the capital of the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia being the capital of the Confederacy. I don't behave like they expect me to and speak proper King's English like they expect me to, even though I can wrap it around their throat and hang them with it. I wasn't being disruptive. I was making a point about being strategic and truly fighting the enemy, and that wasn't received. Then one meeting he named prior to that he didn't see me at. Listen, man. So, State Representative Carl Gilliard, I hope you accept the invitation that your office will be receiving shortly. I won't drop names yet, but it's a name that you tossed around so much today. Because if you truly are about combating that legislation and truly about getting your legislation passed that you talked about, the difficulty of even getting into a subcommittee for a vote, we can help one another if the common denominator is our children. But you're not going to disrespect me, whether it be on the streets or whether it be where you think it's safe in the Capitol. When it comes to our babies, we ain't got time to be passive. It's enough of us doing that. So let's see if he accepts this invite. And I welcome the opportunity. That's what was asked of me, I welcome the opportunity. So for clarity, we're talking about, for recap, House Bill 994, the governor stamped bill, the patty roller-ish bill, Gilliard's bill of House Bill 883, a gang task force with preventative measures. And then there is a study, because again, he was the chairman of a committee in off session called House Resolution 585. Check those three documents out. And if anybody knows Gilliard, make sure he sits down and iron out these differences to get to that promised land. Until then, each one reach, teach.